Morning, everybody. 8:01 a.m., May 12th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, of course, we went up again, and then we kind of ranged a little bit. This morning, we're down pre-market. Still Middle East tensions going on there. Trump said that the ceasefire is on life support. Crude is back over $101 a barrel. Okay, your VIX is up 2.12, right at 18.77 VIX, and we have CPI today at 8:30. Okay, that's probably when I'm going to sign off. We'll probably do the data, and then I'm probably going to sign off. So I don't know how accurate scenarios will be today, just because I don't know what's going to happen with the CPI. Obviously, it's going to go up because of oil. All right, core excludes food and energy, so that it's expected to raise by zero point 0.1. Let's see if that happens. Okay. Now this morning, so far, semis are the laggard. So is technology. Right below us right now is very poor structure that I've been talking about. That this will be taken away once there's a pullback in the market. So currently, right now, ES is relatively stronger than the Nasdaq. Okay. So semis are down pre-market. Okay. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and buying profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I come with game plans. Now every morning I use a market internals. I want to see what's driving the markets off the open. All right. Also use my gamma flip points, which I provide on my Discord for free. My weekly expected move for Thinkorswim for free on my Discord. Anchored view ops as well. ICT smart money a little bit thrown in there, and basically my own proprietary system that I use. All right, now hopefully you join me every morning. Subscribe, set the alert, give you the market story, the market news, the economic calendar, technical analysis, and I always give you the long and short trade scenarios and the ES and the Nasdaq futures at the end of my stream. If you want more in-depth coverage, you will join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay. All right, let's get right into the futures watch list here. Remember, this is pre-CPI. Crude up 3.28%, over $101 a barrel. Okay, the longer we stay here, even though it's priced in a lot, it's not really good. Okay. I actually read an article yesterday that plastics are becoming expensive, made from oil. That's why staples, a lot of staples were getting hit yesterday, like PepsiCo. Interesting. Okay, so the longer crude stays up, it's just overall not good. Now Nasdaq has a chance to really fall here, so we'll see. Okay, even pre CPI. Dollar is up 0.33. 10-year yield up 0.32. Dow pretty much flat. 30-year bonds being sold. Gold down 0.38. Russell down 0.39. ES down 0.43. And there's your Nasdaq almost down 1%. Bitcoin down 1.58. Silver down 1.63. And your laggard is Ethereum down 2.5%. Mag 7s. Boeing up 0.42. Eli Lilly up 0.41. Berkshire Hathaway up 0.41. Over, let's go to the 1%ers here. Google down pretty much 1%. Tesla's down 1.27. Broadcom down 1.32. Coinbase down 1.89. AMD down 2.68%. Top sectors. Exxon and Chevron are up. McDonald's up 0.54. Now some staples, okay. Some safety plays getting bought this morning. Down 1%. GE Vernova. NEM mining down 1.20. Oracle down 1.21. Palantir down 1.48, and Qualcomm down 3.76. There was some earnings after the close yesterday. Let's just go to the granular list here. AI, ticker AI is up 2.43. Target up 2.33. Ion Q, D Wave. That's not D Wave, sorry. Ion Q up 1.78. Lows up 1.74. And D Wave up 1.62. Not a lot up here. Downs. HIMS down almost 15%. ASTS down 11%. Intel down almost 5. Rocket Labs down 3.88. Micron down 3.46. Okay. Moving on to sectors. Leader, no surprise here. Energy up 1.17%. Followed by staples, followed by utilities, financials. Okay. XLK, technology down 1.30%. That is a big one. Semis down over 2%. Is this the day we finally see a big pullback with semiconductors? I don't know. There's been maybe 1 or 2 days where semis did weak, but did get weak in the beginning and then they got bought. Will this be the day we finally get some pullback? I don't know. Moving on to the economic calendar here. All right, so today, core inflation year over year. We're expecting 2.7, previous 2.6. All right, headline, we're expecting 3.7, previous 3.3. That will be your energy affecting prices. Okay, so big data coming out at 8:30. Now, the what else here? What could we get into here? Let's go to financial juice to see what's the risk this morning. Okay, we know that there's nothing important here. Let's go to Trump schedule today. Why did sometimes this refreshes and it's not? Well, I gotta look at the 12th here. President departs the White House en route to Beijing. Give me one sec, folks. All right, so President today departs to White House en route to Beijing. He's supposed to speak to Xi tomorrow. Okay. Now, just the news is just the tensions between Iran. We don't know what's going on there. Okay. So it looks like eBay rejects GameStop's audacious 56 billion takeover. U.S. consumer inflation expected to have increased further in April amid Iran war. OpenAI chief Altman to take stand at OpenAI Musk trial on Tuesday. Him and hers plunge at their weight loss pivot, hits quarterly results. U.S. stock index features as lower as a rally in chip stocks lost steam and hopes for a quick resolution to the Middle East war faded, while investors looked ahead to key inflation report. Additionally, commentary from Federal Reserve Austin Goolsbee is also on the radar. All right, let's see if there's any other news that I don't know about. All right. I think that's pretty good. Now, let's check our breadth. First, we'll go to the 20-day moving average. And we went down again. 41% of stocks above their 20. Go to the slow moving average, the 50-day moving average. 49. We got weaker yesterday. 49% now. Okay. Still middling. And we'll just go over the Bulls percent index of the S&P 500. We weakened yesterday. 56% on buy signals. Let's go to that NDX. That weakened yesterday. 62% on buy signals. All right, and we'll just do the infotech technology sector. That got stronger yesterday. 80%. That is very frothy. 80% on buy signals. Okay, that is a very frothy number. Okay, typically, if you go back, let's see if we go back even. Give me 1 second. Let's go back 3 years here. So when you get into this 80 range, notice how that kind of tops out and you have to pull back. Okay? So that's all we'll go over today in the breadth charts. Okay? So let's see. Actually, let's just see. Staples took a turn yesterday. Yeah, see, it went down yesterday just because of those plastics. I believe this morning it's up. So, and discretionary's been getting hit, but Tesla had a decent day yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, that still got weaker yesterday. That makes sense. All right. Let's go to market internals. Pretty much a strong, not super strong, but tech was leading, so that's all you really need to know. Let's market internals recap here. All right, so technology was up 1%. It's really all that matters. Okay. Semis were up 1%. So semis were strong again. So this market, even though it kind of topped out here and fell, it wasn't going to go down much. Okay. You could see divergent. Equal weight was actually stronger than market cap yesterday because communications was weak, financials. It was a mixed bag in the top 4 sectors. Okay. Very benign yesterday. I wasn't expecting us to go super high or super low. Okay. Now, let's move on to dailies. Alrighty, here's our daily charts. Another all-time high day. Higher low, higher low, higher low. That pink line is last week's close. Okay. Now, we are at 736 right now. We are gapping down. A very small gap down. Okay. Let's look at futures. Okay, so what we did yesterday broke last week's highs. Now you can see price is coming back, right? Trying to hold. There's a support level around the 74.02s that it's trying to hold, right? That is a pretty decent support. Okay. Let's see if this is a top. I don't know. Obviously, this market's due for some type of pullback, but we never know when that's going to happen. Okay, so QQQ. Let's talk about it. Made another high, all-time high yesterday. Okay. Broke last week's highs. Okay. Where are we now? 707s. So this is relatively weaker this morning. We're all the way down here. You're gapping down pretty decent today. Before CPI. Look at futures. Remember, we have this daily demand zone here. Okay, so let's see if we can make our way into that about 28948. All right, we broke previous session lows and we're gapping down. Okay. Excuse me. This is actually a bullish for value gap in a daily chart. Trying to hold on here. Okay. That is your NASDAQ. Now, hourlies. Two different hourly charts entirely today. Very different structures here. All right, let's look at the hourlies. Let me get my marker out. All right, so ES here. You can see this support I'm talking about right there. That's been holding. Okay, you're in a major demand zone. So look at all of this trading. Okay, not going to be easy to get through. Will CPI? We expect CPI to be higher, so that's not going to shock the market too much. Okay, not going to shock it too much. So classic pattern here. I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest pattern guy, but when you see them, you got like a descending triangle here. Usually you break that. Okay. Now, you can see the most traded price of the week, 74.20s. This is one of my scenarios that played out yesterday. See how we pulled right back to it and pushed back, pushed up. Okay, now we're under it. So that's a mini line in the sand, bull bear. We're back underneath it. And we're just trading. And you also have a head and shoulders here with the neckline of that pattern. Okay, that's just stuff you just see automatically. Okay, so do we push back up? I don't know. Okay, let's just put a profile on here. See from this mark right here, what's that looking like? Obviously, big high volume node, the 74.20s. Big low volume node here at the 74.27s. That's been a pivot point. Look, resistance, support, resistance. Okay, that either gets blown through or acts as a pivot. Notice it blew through it here, but then it again use it as support and resistance. So that's how the low volume node works, right? Not on a volume, you can just cut through it. When you have a lot of volume, you don't usually just rip through it. Okay, it kind of takes a while to rip through. Now, once we get down here, notice how the volume just drops. This is where if we break the 74s, right, your next move is down to the 73.90, which is also a major support. If you break that, this is not a lot to hold the market to go all the way back down to about 73.27, which is the top of a gap, an unfilled gap. Does it happen? Don't know. If we zoom in a little more to a more recent price action, like let's say right here, 74.20 is still the most traded price. And this pivot point is still a pivot point. Okay? We'll have to see. All right. Let's look at the Qs, which is totally different chart now. You can see it here. It already broke this support. Okay? This 29173s. It already broke it. We have weak, poor structure here. Okay? Very poor structure. So it's starting to take care of this. You do have a bullish fair value gap starting at 29073. Now, that signifies that we could touch it and bounce off it, which would be bullish for the first short time. Or you just rip that apart. Okay? So what would happen today, at least you get down to the 28977s, that's a demand zone. Or you go down to this support here at around the 28851s. So you can see that descending triangle already played out here. You see we're fighting to hold on to this little range. Okay, I'm going to move this to here. Make this the swing high. It's basically equal highs here. Okay. So we have supply here. We're probably going to have a supply zone here. So do we come back into this range, which would be about 29245s? I don't know. Now you have overhead supply. You're underneath the most traded price of the week, which is 294. 294. All right, so now that you're underneath that, back into last week's range, you might get people starting to say, all right, let me take some profits in semis. We'll have to see though. 9 minutes, a little less than 9 minutes to the CPI data. What sucks is because if it's bad, good, whatever it is, it sucks if I don't get because I really would like to see this structure get cleaned up. I think it's very possible, but I hope CPI doesn't get in the way. But it just thinks sometimes overnight activity takes away a trade. Okay. Okay, I think that's really it. Let's just look at the profile. Very bullish and balanced this profile here. Notice that. See how low the volume that's up here? Okay. Now notice this 29285 is also a high volume node. That's probably going to be the most traded price of the week today. But notice this volume is not much volume. Decent amount of volume, but it drops off. And then this is that poor structure that could get taken care of. Okay, so very important. Let's move on. All right, so let's move on here to market profile, volume profile. Now, remember, these are going to be very preliminary scenarios here because that data is going to come out. Let's look at these charts together. You know what I'm going to do? So here's market profile and volume profile. What I'm going to do, I think, is wait for the CPI to come out, which is going to come out in about 6 minutes. And what I'll do in the meantime, you can see this is the ES. We're gapping down. This is the price action overnight, 30-minute bars. Look at that support, just begging to get broken, that 7402s. So what sucks is probably we will break it with this news, even if it's a quick break. All right. So we'll look for it. But what I'll do in the meantime is let's look back. I'll always like to we'll do an RRG chart until that news comes out and just see. It's not going to be too shocking. We'll just see where money's flowing exactly. Okay. So go back to a daily. So you can see we could even go back to 4. Just want to see maybe on this move here. 423. That was kind of a bottom, right? So what I'll do, 423, right? What I'll do is I'll run my script. Okay. So I'll run my script right here. And we'll go, what did I say? 423. All right. So and it will give me an RG chart. We'll show me the rotation. I'm not going to be shocked by it, but this is just filling time for like when we get that data. All right. So if we look at this together, not a shocker, right? Semiconductors. Now, just to get everybody to realize, the farther right you are compares you to the SPY. So you can see this little table here. SPY is up 4.4% since April 23rd. Okay. Semiconductors are up 19.6% in this time span, followed by technology, followed by, believe it or not, real estate, but it drops off very much. 19%, 14%, and real estate's up 1.4. So notice all of these sectors are in like a lagging sector. Nothing in here is showing much of anything except technology and semis, right? That's what the market's been doing. Even the latest momentum, okay, in the last 5 days, semis, look at that momentum. Now, momentum judges the vertical axis here. So that when you push up, that's showing momentum. So look, the only thing that got a little push up in the last 5 days is materials. And this right here is improving. The only one is materials. Otherwise, everything else is just not doing anything, right? Important to see, right? Now, we could drill one step further and we can look at the holdings in there. So let's look at the financial holdings and we'll start with XLK. And we'll see what these stocks have done, right? Who's the leader? Cisco. In this time span, in the XLK, okay, not semis, is up 11.4, Oracle up 10, Nvidia up 9.9, Apple up 7%. Okay? So, but notice there's a bunch of stocks that didn't move much. Microsoft, the software, right? Broadcom's not that strong. Salesforce is software. IBM, right? Accenture and Palantir, software. Now, let's look at semis. And you'll probably see monsters here. Let's go to the semis. So Qualcomm. Jeez Louise. I mean, I'm an owner of Qualcomm. Qualcomm up 77.3% from April 23rd. Micron is up 65%. AMD up 50%. Unbelievable. Those are your monsters. Okay? Just to give you an example, Qualcomm up 77%, Broadcom up 2%. Texas Instruments up 5.5%. Taiwan Semis up 5.7%. Nvidia up 10%. ASML up 10%. So those are your monsters. Okay? Those are your monsters. Pretty interesting. All right. That news is going to come out in 10 seconds. Let's look at the price action here. Let's see what we do here. We'll go to the results as well. All right, let's go to them. Okay. We got inflation. The headline went up more than expected. 0.1 more than expected. 3.8. Expected 3.7. Core went up more than expected. All right. Expected 2.7. We went to 2.8. So both a little hotter. Okay. Both a little hotter. Let's look at price. Just like I said, I expected this low to break. It did. Right now, I'm not seeing too much craziness. Okay. Give me one sec, folks. All right. So, this price action, like I said, in a big demand zone, key support of 74.02. Next big support, the 73.90s. Now, this might suck if this just takes us all out. Okay? But we have our key levels. So let's just get right into the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ and the ES futures. It's probably going to change as I'm speaking. Still, the levels are still the same. Okay, so we're breaking the overnight lows now. Okay, here we go. So far, market not liking it. Now, we're going to draw some specific levels here. No traded price of the week, we are under it, 74.20s. And then we have our 74.02s support, and then we have our 73.90s support. Okay, so who knows what's going to happen with these levels. We do have some overhead supply as well. So it's mini bearish underneath 74.20. More time spent down there is bearish. Just for like day trading near term. Okay. So if we're going to talk about scenarios, okay, today I'm going to start off with the shorts. Now we just broke the 74.02s. And we're sweeping it right now. Anything can happen, but to put a little tail here. So what I would think if I am going to look for a short, I want this to push back up into 74.20s into the supply. Okay? Any kind of a little bit of a sweepy action of the 74.18s. Okay? And I want it to drop back below the 74.20s, retest 74.20. Give me a chance to go short. Target right now, the overnight lows of 73.98s, and definitely go down and target those 73.90s. If we lose the 73.90s, okay, your destination is going to be probably 73.60. If that gets taken out, okay, look at the top of the gap. That's your 73.27s. Now, you start to try to fill that gap, it can get nasty. Now, I don't know if that happens today at all. Okay, but we do have crude up. Okay, crude is up. Now, honestly, I probably pretty much only like that scenario for the short. Okay. The only other thing that I would say for you for is possible is if the market was to come down, break the 73.90s, take out this demand as well, come back up, and let's say the market's still weak, and you come up and retest the 73.90s and start holding and holding, finding acceptance here, maybe one shot up, fail, short there, around the 73.90s. Now you target those 73.60s and see if you can get farther. Now our month-to-date anchored VWAP is at 73.39s. Okay. Now look, it swept this, and the market's giving us a shot. Okay. Let's look at longs now. Okay. So we're in a big demand zone. Okay, major, and then another demand zone in it. So it's not surprising that this is happening. Okay, so for a long, okay, my preferred long would be if we did come back down, excuse me, come back down to the 73.90s, right? Let's say we break that, but let's say this happens very quickly and we recover, put in that higher low, and I'm like, whoa, semis are getting bought. I'm going to target 74.20s. Okay. Now, here's another alternative. If the market does happen to take out 74.20s, the most traded price of the week, and let's say we start establishing acceptance above it again, and you retest that once, and the market starts to firm up, Okay, I want to take out the supply first. That will give you a long target overnight highs 74.43s, and then see if you can go to 74.54s. Okay, that's all I'm interested in there. Quite a little recovery here. Okay, Nasdaq. Let's break out the session. Now you have a gap going in the Nasdaq. You got to remember, you got a very bullish imbalance to that profile. Okay, very bullish imbalance. Now look, see how we took out that overnight low, and now we're recovering. Okay, so let's get into the long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq. All right, so first off, again, I'm going to go for the shorts. Okay, we have overhead supply here. We have 294 as the most traded price of the week, and yesterday's most traded price. So just think about that. If all the most traded price of the last week and yesterday is here, those are most likely longs. We just went away from that. Okay, back into last week's range, gapping down. So first we're going to mark off gap fill, 29247s. Okay, so if I want to look at a short, okay, now easiest as easy can be would be you come in, hit the gap, fill that gap, then you get a push down, maybe a little retest of the 29247s. You short that. Target overnight lows 29113s. Now you have that bullish fair value gap below here, and like I said, we could go down to let me give you the correct levels here, the 28976s, and then you have support at the 28840s. So possibly can make a move down there. Now there is also major support at 28760s. Okay, so this can make a swift move. Take all that out. All right, down to Friday's lows, 28863s. Okay, we're not by that big gap like we are in the ES. Okay, so market's buying this right now. All right, so we have to see. Okay, so that's one short. So this is getting recovery. This is what I want. Okay, so what do I want to see? This, like I told you, the gap fill, the retest of yesterday's lows. That's a nice short. Now the second one is coming to this supply. Okay, this supply is nice and key here. Any rejection inside that supply, which that supply starts at 29271, goes to 29338. Okay, so nothing's perfect. And let's talk about that. Okay, so if you come into this supply, right, get rejected, put in a lower high, you're going to short target overnight lows, 29113s, and then see if you can clean all that structure up and go down to last Friday's lows. That would be the 28863s. All right, anything lower than that is possible if this market really gets cooking and semis have a major pullback. Okay, longs. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of the long today so far in the Nasdaq. All right, what I'm seeing here, yeah, I don't really see like a long here. I'm not crazy about it. But what I would say is this. Okay, see this gap fill here. So what I could see happening is this. You do have a little demand here. So what I could see is this. You fill that gap. Now, let's say people buy the dip in semis and the tech is leading off the open. If we pull back, all right, into this probably a demand zone now at around the 29156s, okay? If you pull back in there and you get some strong buying in semis and tech, that's probably a long, all right? And what I would say is be very careful. I would probably take some profit into the supply 293s and be very careful. If this rips, then maybe it rips back up to 294s. Okay? Other than that, what I like to see, well, if we open up and just drive down hard into this bullish for value gap, now that bullish for value gap starts at 29073s. Remember, that is poor structure. It's an imbalance. If you get support in this imbalance, that is bullish. So you come out here and make that higher low, and tech is getting love and semis are getting love. You target yesterday's lows, 29247s. Okay? And then see if you put a runner on and go to the 294s. Okay? All right. My overall outlook on the markets. Now, ES broke the 7402s, have since swept that and went right back up to the 7420s, the most traded price of the week. We're setting up for me to lean short. Okay? Setting up for me to lean short. Semis are your laggard with technology. Now, I'll be watching this, but today is the first day that I'm saying that I lean a little to the short side. We're now underneath the most traded price of the week, 74.20, and that's your mini bull bear line in the sand in the ES. Okay? NASDAQ is relatively weaker this morning. Your most traded price of the week is 294. We are way under 294. Okay? Way under 294. We are gapping down. Okay? So today, every day there's been divergences in the market. Maybe today, the heavyweights are all weak. I don't know. But you need tech to be weak in order to have a nice short. I am leaning short, but I am cautious, but I am leaning short. Okay? There is going to be a day when people take their money from semis. Okay, we saw the RAG charts that I showed earlier, how all that money flowed into semis, basically. All right? So I'm going to be cautious. However, I am leaning a little short today. All right? Now, hope everybody liked that analysis. Smash the like button if you did. Okay, now every morning I do this. Subscribe, set an alert, help my channel out. Give you the market story, market news, economic calendar, leaders and laggards, technical analysis, and I just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ and the ES futures. If you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. I should be going live today at 9:45 a.m. Please come join me. All right? Now we have our plan. Hope you have your process that you follow today. Remember, no trade is a trade. Hope everybody has a green day or a flat day. Okay? If I don't see you in my Discord, I'll see you ready tomorrow morning.